We're getting everybody pulled up here. Hey, there we go. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm excited to chat with you all. We'll start on in just a couple minutes, but to get us started, Suzette, Alfred, thank you for joining me. I need to know what your favorite summer food is. Like, what is your summer food that you've been craving like all winter that you need to have now?
Ooh, that's a good one. Suzette, do you want to take this one first? I'm gonna need a minute.
Prep you with this. I didn't give it to you beforehand, but
No, completely off the cuff.
So even though I'm always craving a really good ice cream, I just need to enjoy it on a very summery day, but like when it's pouring outside. Like I need the rain to
that's a
build
very
that
specific situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Ice
There's
cream.
conditional statements to the summertime food.
Yes.
I love that.
So good ice cream, but in the rain.
I love it. That's so good. Alfred, how about you?
Mine is super niche, but for some reason, I can't have watermelon anytime else during the year. But when summer comes, it's like a pregnancy craving. I'm just like, you know what? Watermelon all day, every day.
Tis the season, right?
Tis the season.
I love that. I'm a big watermelon person. I see some coming in the chat. Corn on the cob, Alex, that's really good. I forget about it, but then I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's definitely there. I think mine, you guys took my watermelon one. I do usually do watermelon. My other alternative is probably boba. Oh, that's okay. Now it's really good. Yeah. Love boba. Mine is probably like Kool-Aid. Like I feel like it's Kool-Aid season and you can make all the different flavors. And now they have like Kool-Aid with electrolytes and all of these things. Ices are like so good. That's my emotion. Like that, I can't have it at Christmas time. I'm not gonna have like cherry Kool-Aid at Christmas. So 'tis the season, I think, and this is when I get to have it, for me at least.
Wow,
Kool-Aid has to
Kool-Aid game.
I know, right?
Oh, it's back. It's back.
The sugar to Kool-Aid ratio has to be just right, which is 4 times the amount of sugar to water. It will kill a diabetic at the first sip. That is the right way to do it.
That's the good stuff. It's if it's pulsating a little bit when you drink it, that's like it's a little energy. That's where the good stuff is. I think we probably have already annoyed enough people with all of our amazing food, but I was super excited to have everybody here today. I'm going to kick it off and then pass it over to Alfred and Suzette to introduce themselves. But welcome, everyone. I'm Austin Sandmeyer. This has been an amazing day of amazing sessions. I am with Sendoso. I am the head of growth and customer marketing. I've been there for about 2 years, and I call beautiful Salt Lake City home now, and I love it. So I'm going to pass it over to Alfred.
My name is Alfred. I'm the Director of Marketing Ops here at Magaya. We are a software company specializing in the logistics and supply chain space, and I also have the added role of Salesforce admin for the org. Hi, everyone.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Suzette Hiron, and I am the account-based marketing manager at Invoca, who is the leading revenue execution platform that supports both marketing and contact center teams. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. So if any Canadians are on the line, like give us like a little excitement flag. And I have been working at Invoca for more than 2 years, and I focus on implementing effective ABM strategies and like leveraging multi-channel approaches always. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about all the different things that we run when it comes to like engaging with our prospects at various stages in our buyer journeys.
I love that. I am so excited for this conversation today. Everybody in the chat, feel free to throw some questions in the Q&A. We'll get to them either at the end or as we go. But to kick us off, we're talking around transforming sales and marketing strategies and using AI personalization. I would love, Sendoso is big on gifting the marketing strategy, and that's another channel that's very frequently used. So I would love to understand, Alfred, could you kick us off and kind of describe your main use case for gifting as it comes to like your different marketing strategies and how you're using it today?
So we actually, I knew you were going to start with me.
Gotta
we
kick
actually
it off, right?
gotta kick it off. We use Sendoso really at Magaya in 4 different ways. The first one is maintaining customer loyalty, which is a big deal for us. Increasing customer engagement. We also have accelerating for deals and pipeline. And then the last way that we use it, which is the relatively new way that we started, is also in our ABM playbook and motion. So we use it across the board within the org.
Did you start all of them at once? It sounds like the last one for sure has been coming. Like, what was that progression as you think about different like motions and how it can be helpful?
No, not at all. So hopefully our CSM is on this platform right now, and they will vouch that we very much took a crawl, walk, run approach to this. So in the beginning, we were a very small Sendoso user, and I know that in the beginning it was just doing the one-to-one sends, which that's not where the power of Sendoso really lies. It's great at doing that, don't get me wrong, but it's more in terms of automating the processes to just have these personalized touches go out in mass to the people that you want them to read. But I'll get into that in a second. But to answer your question, no, we didn't launch all of these at the same time, Austin. Sorry, I can go off on a tangent. You stop me, all right? You put up a GIF or something like a stop sign.
No, I love it. There we go. Suzette's got her hand. Yeah. Suzette, tell me a little bit about you. Suzette's ready to stop you because she wants to. Suzette, tell me a little bit about your motions and the different use cases that you're using. Are they the same as Alfred, or how does that relate?
It is quite similar. Like, we have our new logo motion. The outbound team uses gifting. So like both sales, the sales development team, and of course marketing, like with our events team, our inbound team too uses it. And then of course, we not only to generate pipeline, but to also accelerate the deal cycle. And then from the customer retention and expansion team, they also use it. And both, like just to drive engagement with our customers, make sure that we are helping the AM team when it comes to like upselling and cross-selling. We always need to be using our gifting.
I am super intrigued by that because I think like all of these channels and all of these kind of use case motions make a lot of sense. But I think one of the aspects behind it is really around like personalization, because like, sending a stop sign to someone is not probably the most personalized thing. So personalization is really like where the devil is in the details, in my opinion. So I'd love to learn, Suzette, like, how are you doing personalization in gifting as it relates to these different areas and use cases?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, Austin, with personalization, and especially when it comes to account-based marketing. We live, breathe, like we do everything when it comes to personalization. We know that going the extra mile to make sure that we are personalizing our messaging, meeting our prospects and customers where they are in their journey is crucial. So when it comes to personalizing, it's not only like, I think as a bare minimum, we should be personalizing the messaging and like in the note card that we sent out with the gift. But I think the next level to it is personalizing the actual gift that you send out. Like at the beginning, maybe you can go very broad with like, hey, some cookies. Like everybody who doesn't love cookies. Everybody loves cookies. It will be just like you said, it will make such a big difference if you just go with like, hey, here's some cookies to sweeten up your day. It's Friday, so enjoy the weekend. To completely different when you have already had a conversation with your prospect and you are noticing things from them, like noticing their background. This is a bad example because my background is blurred. Prospect, that they might have like plans around them, or even in conversations they might have told you like they are a Formula One fan, and you do remember like, hey, I know this fact about them. I'm gonna go and search for a gift that is, let's say, a miniature car from Formula One. I think it's a huge reminder that I do with my sales and sales dev team members. Like, we are not selling to a machine. We are selling to a human. So if you are able to foment a good, positive relationship with them through also adding the channel of gifting, I think you can go and build that relationship that you're seeking, to be top of mind, to make sure that they are coming to your meeting and that are responding to your emails and like to any conversations that you're trying to establish with them.
I love that. I think one of the biggest challenges is in relation to that, like, early stage, that cookie stage? Like, have you ran different tests to like try to see what things match, like what things potentially are good? Obviously everybody loves cookies, so I think like cookies are great. I would love to hear if you've like done some other campaigns or anything that has maybe performed better or performed worse. Like I would love to see your insight into personalization when there just isn't like a ton to personalize.
So big plug to Sendoso, because you guys released an amazing AI-powered feature called
yes. I was just like, can we talk about that, or is it still like under wraps?
Yeah, you can talk about it.
All right, fantastic. Because I was like, that's part of my presentation,
right? Because one of the challenges is to like, hey, we need to go the extra mile with personalization, but it takes time. You're like trying to pull data from like your prospect on like, go on their LinkedIn, try to find any webinars that they have spoken at, try to like hear any podcasts, learn about them. But there is a tool that you can literally type in like, hey, any recommendations for a CMO that likes Star Wars? And then you get an array of items, because I mean, an amazing thing that the direct mail tools have, especially Sendoso, you have a plethora of gifts that you can send out.
Yeah.
And for some folks that are not in it and like logging into Sendoso every single day, like I am, it can be overwhelming. So with this tool, it's so much easier for especially my AEs, the sales team, to leverage the gifting. There isn't really anymore a blocker. So that is how they have been able to personalize. And especially when it comes to like accelerating those opportunities that are stuck, especially right now, summertime. I get it. People are focused on like, I want to enjoy, I want to enjoy my ice cream in the rain, or I want to enjoy my watermelon or my Kool-Aid, like I don't want to be like going to all of these meetings. So how do you stay top of mind? It's like, just make sure that you send out something that speaks to them. When they receive it, it's not going to be like, oh, again, this company is trying to like talk to me. No, it's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Austin sent me this. They were able to like remember the fact that I love ice cream in the rain, and they send me an ice cream kit for me to enjoy whenever it rains here in Toronto. That makes a difference.
Yeah, I love that. That is awesome. Alfred, I want to hear more about you. You're talking about Smart Send. I can tell you are on the verge of wanting to know more. Like,
oh yeah,
you're using it. Tell me about like how it's playing into your motion.
So the one thing, and I'm going to piggyback of something that Suzette said, which is big in our organization, we tell our AEs and especially our account managers as well to be hyper vigilant. And I go on to even say, like, do you remember that last relationship that you broke up with and then you were stalking their Instagram page? I need that level of commitment whenever you're searching for your prospects. I'm dead serious. Hopefully none of my exes are on this platform right now. But with that being said, once they give us some details, like for example, I went on their LinkedIn, I saw that they were following this, or I saw this. Oh God, yeah, that GIF. We put it into Smart Send, and that's going to be the ones for the middle and towards the bottom of the funnel. And we've seen that that's been incredibly effective. Like Smart Send has been a huge game changer in all of our plays. It's incredible. But yeah, that's the big standout for me as well. We also do personalization. Like, how many times can anyone on this, presentation say that they've gotten an email where it says like "Dear First Name" and immediately cringed at it? So the bare minimum is obviously making sure that your data is clean, which is part of what I do as Salesforce admin, making sure that our CRM is fully clean. So that way we can personalize at scale whenever we have any of those merge tags in there. But you also have to customize the message. So whenever we're sending an email out, it's not a spray and pray methodology. What are they looking at? What are they converting at? We use HubSpot, so we know what pages they're interested in. And based on those actions, based on those insights, that's the messaging that we send out to them.
That's super interesting. I would love to learn. I think one thing that comes into this AI and scaled sales and marketing motions is like the cleanliness of the data. And like, first name, high first name merge tag, like, how do you, Alfred, I mean, we don't have enough time to dive into how do you do that, but how do you think through that from a high level perspective? And like, if you can give a couple tips for people, because I'm sure it's a challenge. I have that challenge internally as well.
Yeah, so it's not a singular point of error, at least within our organization. Data hygiene and data cleanliness is a job across the board. We have, and I can say, like, we've built in account views and contact views for every one of our AMs and BDRs, and then we have checks and balances to make sure that the information that's going in there is clean. Plus, on top of that, everything that we have inside of HubSpot, we make sure that, you know, there's proper capitalization. We make sure that there's no blank email addresses. We enrich data. We have two platforms, Apollo.io, and we also use Sales Intel in conjunction, plus Clearbit Engage. So it's a ton of things that we've added to our tech stack, because ultimately, if you want to do less work on the back end and get those conversions, you have to do the work on the front end and making sure that all your data is clean.
Yeah, that makes that. Yeah, we've all been there. I already cringed when you said the capitalization, because I was like, yeah, how many times have I sent an email with wrong capitalization? And it makes me so sad. It keeps me up at night. Suzette, we were talking about like these different strategies across these different aspects. How do you measure success? Because when you're talking about sales and marketing motions, and you're talking about AI, and you're talking about scale motions, there's a lot of things there. What are you measuring for success?
So for all of my ABM campaigns, like I have to tie it to revenue. There's no way I can just go and present about like the success of my campaign if I don't tie it to revenue. So I have to always, like, top of mind, what are the number of ops, how much ACV, what are the deals that were booked, that were influenced with a direct mail campaign. And then, of course, like I also want to make sure that I'm looking at KPIs, like the account engagement, like how long is it taking to like move them down the funnel, the pipe velocity for like those open ops that I'm running campaigns. ROI, of course. I mean, we do invest a lot in direct mail, but so far it is paying off. So this is really great. And of course, like I mentioned, like the usage that like from our sales team. This is a tool that we truly believe in the ABM side. ABM cannot work without sales and marketing, so we just need to continue pushing, and features that will empower the sales team. We're always like, yes, we're going to enable you ASAP, sign me up. I want to be the trial, the test, everything, because we can see the difference.
I love it. Alfred, how about you? How are you measuring success kind of the same motions? I know you had 4 different kind of use cases.
So revenue is a big one, because ultimately at the end of the day, every marketing department has a smaller budget. So you're having to do more with less. So you have to always, revenue is top of mind for everyone, but retention as well. We've seen our numbers skyrocket when it comes to retention, just giving those surprise and delight engagements to the contacts that we have within our accounts. But the other big one, which was actually really surprising, was our speed to close ratio. So we had an average sales cycle of about 90 to 95 days. And then initially we went to our CRO and we said, hey, we have this idea. Let's go ahead and let's have these touch points with personalization where we can send it out, and people, you know, whenever they get a proposal, hey, you're reviewing your proposal, here's some coffee on us. And he said, well, I'm not a big believer of it, but let's give it a shot. So we did it, and we noticed that every single one of the deals that had those additional touch points via Sendoso, the sales cycle was shortening and shortening. And he finally said, let's do it with everyone. So now we've driven our sales cycle for, on average, 85 to 90% of our ops from 90 days, closer to 35 days.
Wow,
that's right.
That's crazy.
Dramatic pause, because that is insane. I run the reporting, and when we look, it's just night and day, the difference, where you can see one that hasn't been touched with these personalization gifts, and one that's just like, here you go, here's the proposal, you know, get back to me when you get back to me. It's a 90-day sales cycle.
That's incredible.
That is
so pretty impressive,
Alfred.
I was
reminds me about like our customer marketing team. Like, it's running amazing campaigns, especially like in their community. We have a community for our customers, and whenever we talk about retention, it's like when they dive into the numbers, they have known it. You know, like if you have active members in your customer community, that already has a much higher retention rate. If I'm not mistaken, it's 30% higher retention rate than actually those that are not members in the community, because they are not being engaged by like all of these different direct mail touch points and like all of the other activities that they run. So it is so crucial to like really be driving that engagement, but like also measuring like, hey, how is this actually part of like their deal cycle when it comes to like retention and with the customer retention and engagement. Because I know from my side, I mean, I'm like all about like driving pipeline, but when we talk about retention, it's also like really crucial to start diving into like what are the results.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question. Like, Alfred, you talked about some of the customer plays that you were doing. How does this kind of how does this are you measuring it for engagement, retention? Like, are you doing some of the scale campaigns to help on that side?
Yeah, so we're doing everything on the customer side. And keep in mind, we originally came via Sendoso thinking on how to improve customer retention, because a couple of years back, customer retention at Magaya was just down in the sewers. Like it was so bad. So we decided initially, and the customer feedback that we were getting was just like, well, we signed a contract, and then afterwards, unless we have a problem, we really don't hear from everyone. And we're like, how can we fix that? So we started out with the anniversary loyalty program. People loved it. People started getting and redeeming all of these gifts, and we're like, okay, fantastic. What are some other pain points during the customer journey that we can improve? Well, another one was the handoff between the implementation team and the account manager. Well, let's add a touch point there. There was another one that at the renewal, when the account manager has to tell them that they're getting a 10% rate increase, well, let's soften the blow with a nice personalized gift that they can automatically send that's tied to a contract inside of Salesforce. And all these things, these different KPIs, these different metrics throughout the customer journey, from the second that they're signed to 15, we have 20-year customers with us. They all get different touches, and we want to make sure that they have that, what we call internally the Magaya embrace at scale. And Sendoso has been great at being able to do that for us.
That's super cool. I love hearing it. I think like looking through all the different touch points is so critical. And I think like we all know that AI in sales and marketing is great, and it's awesome. Like we're starting to see really, I think we've been promised this fruit for so long, and we're now starting to see the fruit actually happen. I wanted to see, Suzette, like what challenges have you faced with different AI tools, especially around like personalization and marketing campaigns? Has everything been glowing perfectly for you, or and you're just the special snowflake, or what are some of the challenges I think that we've all faced?
Oh my God!
Yes, Austin.
When ChatGPT, of course, came out, everybody was like, "Oh my God, there's like AI is like the solution to all of our problems. We're gonna be able to like minimize the time that we spend doing this, like almost like just completely give it out to AI. Just do this. Write my email cadence, and everything is gonna be perfect." And that was not the case, Like I think AI is such a good foundation, but at the beginning, my biggest challenge was, okay, how do I prove or disprove the hypothesis that like this is the tool that is going to help me optimize for productivity? Yes, it does help. I love to use my different AI tools in the case of like messaging and content, like to start as a foundation. Even if I were to give all the prompts that are in the universe to just like literally get everything out of my brain in prompt. But even if it's just a foundation, it's a much better start than like starting from nothing. But the next challenge was, okay, like what about data privacy? Like there are so many issues when you go with like AI tools that are available for literally anybody and anybody, because part of the tool, how they learn and how AI improves is like storing all that data, learning from what you're telling them. Of course, when it comes to business matters, we don't want to be sharing all of our information. So now it's investigating what are the tools out there that can be used and like I can use, knowing that my data is not going to be shared out with the world. There are some regulations and privacy rules. But the next step was, with the AI motion, so many of our MarTech stack tools started releasing more AI features. And I was like, yes, give them to me. I don't have to go on your marketing budget on other AI tools. So I think when that started becoming more common, and in all honesty, I think many of software tools already used AI. Like I think in all capabilities, software has to be using AI on some capability to just run. So I think it was really good when like this was more promoted heavily and like these new features. That really allowed me to just go much faster, go in from one spot, do not go and travel from like tool to tool. And now that more integrations are going to be happening, I'm just waiting out here for me to do amazing things with all of these tools that if they just can be integrated, that'd be amazing.
I 100% agree. And I never thought about it that way, Suzette, but like truly like, I think we're at this frontier level where it's like marketing has kind of become stale over, I would say the past like 4 or 5 years. It's been kind of stale. It's like run a campaign, do a thing, grab a list, do another thing. And I just feel like we're at this turning point in the last year and a half, where it's just like, we're actually, it's fun. Like it's kind of fun. We're playing with new tools and doing fun things and thinking outside the box. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a really good time, like playing with all of the AI. And I think like having it built into the tools that you are already contracted with and are already using, like that's a real unlock versus like going and finding another thing to bring into the product to try to get through approval of all of the people at your company. I never really thought about it that way. That's truly, interesting, Suzette. Alfred, are you the special snowflake? Nothing goes wrong with your AI tools?
Absolutely not. And then in the there's stuff that goes awry all the time. The big thing is bouncing back from it. But in the beginning, it was the same thing. We had some of the members from our IT team saying like, how much information can we gather from our prospects to the point where we're still remaining, compliant with data privacy. And then not only that, in the beginning, AI, it was the Wild West. You would input some stuff and then get the most random information back. So, you have to have a balance in between, leveraging these new exciting AI tools, but at the same time, making sure that whatever you're sending out is not completely like off the handle bonkers. Pizza glue. Yes. Pizza glue. Never forget.
Exactly. Yeah. I completely agree. I guess like, as we get ready to wrap here, what's the future? What's the future of AI, gifting in your guys' design? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
I think going back to like the integration part, if more tools could be integrated, but do not compromise personalization. Because I have noticed like whenever you are trying to use integrations between, let's say, Marketo, Sendoso and Salesforce, like I know, Alfred, data cleanse. Making sure that your data is clean.
That is the hill I'm willing to die on.
It's crucial. I know. But there are some other things like I have seen it when I'm like, okay, I cannot fully rely on triggers or like automation because I'm lacking like that personalization that I'm seeking. But I do think like as AI continues and like more tools are generating more features that are based with AI, I think we can get closer to just automate without compromising personalization.
Yeah, 100%. Alfred, how about you? What does your future look like?
Really, the one thing that I'd love to see AI be leveraged against is kind of like behavioral analysis and then predictive analytics when it comes to, what types of gifts would be more appreciated by prospects based on whatever persona or target demographic that we have them in there, where they are in the buying journey. So that for me is the next step. We're doing this personalization at scale. We're getting suggestions from SmartSend, which is great, but it's on a one-to-one basis. And then in addition to that, I want to be able to take all this information, take a look at a trend over time, and have AI tell me, Alfred, what would hit right now when they're middle of the funnel? Some cookies, send them cookies, or send them over, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping the future looks like.
That's awesome. That's super exciting. I have some exciting stuff to share with you guys then in the future weeks to come. But we have to wrap here. It is the end of the time. Thank you guys for joining us. Suzette, Alfred, you guys were amazing. I appreciate you. I'm sorry we didn't get to many questions. We'll be sure to follow up in the email, but thank you all for your time. I appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.